everybody today? Hopefully doing well. It's your faithful and loyal Calgary Rambler here. And I am at home right now. I started this before, but it wasn't set up the way I liked, and I couldn't see the screen. So anyhow, let's have a little bit of fun here, shall we? I say we do. I'm feeling great today. And what I'm doing right now is I've got my TV going here as well. And I'm just going to show you guys I think I'll show you a little bit of Toronto. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So we'll turn off the volume and we'll get back to this. Okay. All right. So, how is everybody today? Doing well? I hope so. Why do I want to go back to Toronto? The price of living has skyrocketed there. I know this to be true. And it doesn't really affect me. I am working in the Canadian oil patch, and the money is astronomically great. You're not going to hear me complain at all. I love it very much, and I can't say enough about it. So why would I want to leave Alberta? Well, I'm a social person, you see. And I love being around people of all different kinds. However, here in Alberta, one thing that is not discussed very much on social media is the fact that Alberta is not the most social place to be. It's not antisocial, but it's close. And for example, Red Deer, Alberta, the social scene is dead. In spite of the fact that Red Deer is a very vibrant city. However, socially, it virtually doesn't exist. And that's not a good thing. Any way you slice it. I miss Toronto. Toronto is a very socially vibrant city. It's a 24/7 city, whereas cities like Edmonton and Calgary shut down at 7 p.m. Yeah, they become a virtual ghost town. People just aren't socially active here in this province, and that's sad. That's very sad. You know, when I first moved here full time in 2007, I became very aware of the fact that by leaving Toronto, I was leaving the social hub of Canada. Now, it's been joked about and said that the newcomers to Canada will see very quickly that you have all of Canada on one side and Toronto on the other hand. Okay, so right hand will be all of Canada and the left hand will be Toronto. Why? Because Toronto is its own little micro country. It's very self-sustaining, does very well, rebounds from recessions and that type of thing very, very, very adeptly, and has gone through changes very well. Like, for example, it's gone through gentrification since 2005 extremely well, especially 2006 onward. And the current premier is investing a ton of money. I'm going to pause what I'm saying here about Toronto just for a second here, guys. I just discovered a feature on my phone I didn't know existed. It's called overheating protection, something the iPhones don't have. I use a Samsung S23, and I thought I'd just bring that up. It just popped up on my screen, saying my screen temperature was getting a little too hot, and the phone was getting a little too warm. So, to activate the phone protection feature for overheating, so it won't shut down. So yes, I'm getting back to what I'm saying here. I'm going back to Toronto. Now, in the social scene, I'm a street racer. Okay, first and foremost, it's always been like Vin Diesel said. For those 9 seconds or so, I'm free. And I am. But the street racing scene here in Alberta is very much like it was in the early 1970s. Few cars and no social circle at all. No social circle whatsoever. That's sad. That's really sad. When the social circle doesn't want to adapt and bring itself into the next century. People have moved here for the work, and they aren't seeing a very, very good scene here, and they get bored very quickly. So it's not a good thing for us. It doesn't rhyme well. And being here since 2006, 2007, I'm going to say that I've had enough. I'm 54 years of age. I was 36 when I moved here. And it's disappointing in that regard. Will I leave the oil patch? No. Because the oil patch is only a 3-hour plane flight from either Toronto or Hamilton. And in my case, I'd be flying out of Pearson International. So it's, and that's going to either, or you got your choice of Calgary, Edmonton, or Fort McMurray to fly into. And in my case, I've flown into both Edmonton and Fort McMurray for work. So, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my work. I really enjoy it. And it pays exorbitantly well. It's one of the few occupations in Canada, whereas you can walk into an entry-level job and it pays $175,000 a year plus, and that includes camp LOA in that as well. Now, if you want to work overtime you're going to be up and above 200 grand a year. So, like I say, it's one of very few occupations in Canada that pay that well. Construction, like you're seeing here going on, doesn't even touch it. And the only reason why is because construction doesn't pay camp rate. Okay. And that's unfortunate. If it did, it would be comparable to what you make on the rigs, because the camp rate adds another $44,000 on top of your base rate. And your base rate's about $109,000 a year to work on the rigs, okay, as a rig pig, roughneck, and entry level. And then you add $44,000 LOA on top of that, and then you add your overtime on top of that. So yeah, it's absolutely exorbitant, the amount of money that you make. And this is why when you see, like, I just watched a video before I started this live, and it was of a roughneck who I've seen on a video series that was filmed back in 2008 called The Rig, filmed in Alberta here. And one of the drillers was also in this video, and it had to do with modifications being made to a 224 Ford F-150 base model, well, almost base model truck, and they bolted on a supercharger, and the thing is just absolutely awake, but for less than a quarter of the cost of a Hellcat. So anyways, it was good to see Joey again. Good to see he's enjoying life and making videos with a YouTube channel. So anyway, yes, the oil patch does pay exorbitantly well, but the sucky thing is that there's no social circle up here. None. It's dry. It's worse than it's ever been. And the only thing people talk about is money up here in Alberta. You go into clubs and pubs and that kind of thing, and you listen around you, and everyone's just talking about how much they made this week, or how much they expect to make by Christmas, and the current working conditions. Like, it's all just work and how much they make. How much did you make this month? You'd save enough to soup up your big Duramax truck. These are the conversations. And okay, fine and dandy, but there's more things to enjoy in life than just the big toys. I mean, it's nice to have, the boat, the truck, and the Sea-Doo and that type of thing. Sure, but there's more to life than that. And it's also, Calgary hasn't grown, socially, in the sense that, yeah, it's a 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. city, and Edmonton is the same way. Number two, there's only two streets where things happen in Calgary, as many people know. It's Stephen Avenue, okay? And the second one is what they call the Red Mile, and that is 17th Avenue, Southwest. And it's not enough, guys. It's not enough. I'm not impressed with that. My wanting to be here now has dried up. I came out here to work on the rigs, as well as to take care of an ailing family member who passed away in December. So that leaves me wide open. Now, I see you added Calgary Stampede. Yes, but that's only for 10 days. What are you going to do for the rest of the year, right? Like right now, we're into latter part of August, and there's nothing going on here, Tina. Nothing. Zip. Whereas in Toronto, it's a 24/7, 365 city. Always something going on. I tested that theory with a friend of mine. He was down in Thailand for a while. And one thing in Thailand being such a busy metropolis, with cities interconnected and that type of thing, and highly social, is that their businesses go for many hours past normal operating hours. So my friend tested that and had dental work done at 11:30 p.m. at night. So go figure. And I says, well, what about in Toronto? And he says, well, I don't know about dental work, he says, but I know everything's wide open. I can go grocery shopping at 2:30 in the morning. And I thought to myself, that is not an option here in Alberta at all, anywhere. And that's disappointing. That's very disappointing that Calgary is still in the Stone Ages. And not just Calgary. I got to stop saying Calgary as in being one particular location. The whole province, Alberta, is that way. But yet you go to Vancouver, and Vancouver's going till at least 3 o'clock in the morning. Everything's going, and then they shut down for an hour, and they start again, opening the doors for the next day at 4 o'clock. You know, I don't know, guys. It's not sustaining for me. So I'm heading back, and I'm heading back to where I can be social. Also, the medical in Ontario is far better. Give an example is as you get older, you get things like back pain. Okay. And here in Alberta, we have a serious problem with medical now. Our doctors and nurses are leaving the province faster than they're coming in. We're not able to retain these professionals. They don't want to be here. And I don't blame them, to be honest with you. The government infrastructure here is dry for medical staff. Whereas in Ontario, at least it's a bit better. There is some lags and things like this, but you're getting the care that you need. And I mentioned back pain earlier, and I had a friend of mine who she just went through major surgery, and she could have had it done a lot sooner. She found out. She went to Sunnybrook in Toronto, and they exemplary work. She mentioned the name of 2 doctors, and they were just phenomenal people. And these were doctors that wanted to be there day in, day out, year in, year out. And that's something good to be said, for the province and for the city. So give yourselves a hearty pat on the back there. But we don't have that here in Alberta. It's not good. You could wait for years for treatment. And that's unfortunate. Now, as I get older, I'm in my 50s, I'm 54 now, I'm starting to notice back pain lasting longer. Case in point, kind of unusual case here, but a week ago, I threw my back out while I was sleeping. Yeah, sleeping. I must have had a bad nightmare or something that night, because negative hypertension is one of the main causes of back pain. And the back pain, I was thinking about it. It's lasting longer and longer with every bout that I have. And this time it's lasted a week. Actually longer than a week. And it's not as serious as it was when it first happened. When it first happened, I was flat in my back. But now it's just a bit of a dull ache. And I can at least stand for elongated periods. So that's a good thing. And my friend was telling me she had back pain problems for going back to 2004, 2005. And just this year had the problem remedied to a great satisfaction. So that, and it was Sunnybrook in Toronto where she went. So that's great. That's awesome. But I asked her, I said, I'm thinking of packing it in for Calgary. And I told her what was going on here and the fact that I feel discontented and why. And she sang accolades for the medical services in Ontario. And I don't feel the same way about the rental situation. The only deals on rent, it seems, are people who may be on ODSP or something like that, and having to live below the poverty line, but the government is helping them. They're providing a lot of rent control there, and these people live for less than $800 a month. Whereas here, there's nothing like that here in Alberta. People are really paying through the nose here in Alberta. Rents have skyrocketed in the last year and a half. And it used to be that you could come to Alberta and find a bachelor apartment for $600-700 a month. Forget that now. And the same bachelor apartment is $1,400 a month. And it's going up. Everything's gone up. But there seems to be some form of control in Ontario, which is good. It's unfortunate that Ontario still has a provincial sales tax. Alberta does not. That's one benefit to Alberta. There's no provincial sales tax here. But on the downside is I guess you could say, I mentioned rent control. Food has gone up. Everything else has gone up too. And the fact that if you own a car, you drive everywhere, your choices for insurance are depleting rapidly. We're down to 6 insurance companies for the whole province of Alberta as of today. And it's not clear to me why all the insurance companies that we had before are leaving. I think it has to do with the government again, but I could be wrong. I digress. Yes, Toronto is more expensive than Calgary, but only at a slight margin right now. I don't see a big savings in Alberta if people were to come out here now, today, and decide they're going to live here. They're not going to see the savings. Our winters are markedly colder than they are in Toronto. Toronto has longer summers than Calgary, and the days are hotter in Toronto than they are in Calgary. But yeah. But like I say, I'm a very social person, and I just feel like I'm being squeezed by a boa constrictor here because there's no life in this province. This province is on life support, and that's unfortunate. That's not the way it should be in 2024. So, yeah, it's been a good go here. Um, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed Alberta, but it's time to spread my wings and look elsewhere. I was born here. I'll tell you that. I was born here 54 years ago in 1970, and family moved east to Ontario. I was raised in Ontario. Ontario's known for good government jobs and good stable living. And I've been back and forth across this country as an adult. I've lived in Winnipeg, I've lived in Saskatoon, I've lived in Vancouver, born in Edmonton, and I've also lived here since 06, 07 here in Calgary. So yeah, that's my situation in a nutshell. I'm excited about moving back to Ontario. I have many, many, many more friends in Ontario, and I'll tell you, many of those friends moved out here around 2005, 2006 when it was booming, and then as boom went bust, they moved back to Ontario and Quebec and those places. And there's also a lot more in supply and services in Ontario, especially Toronto, than there is here, than there'll ever be here, I think. So, yeah, that's my little message in a bottle, so to speak. And I thought I'd turn on the old Prism here, broadcast, and broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube. My YouTube channel is Calgary Rambler. Again, that's going to change when I move to Toronto. I'll rebrand the channel, but you'll have lots of notice and that kind of thing, and you'll still be able to click on. It'll stay in your friends' favorites menu and that type of thing. And of course, I'm known as Jim Caron on Facebook. That's my name. So, are my family still down east? Members are, yes. The elder members are for sure. Everybody's pretty much spread out and gone all points around the globe. With my children, I've got one child still here, my daughter. She's still here in Calgary. And she just wants to get into regular government work. She works with our city police force here, and she wants to pack it in for that, which is fine. I don't mind. And I wish her the best in her career choices, but she just wants to get into general government work now. She doesn't want to do the high profile thing anymore, and I can understand that. Who'd want to be a cop in today's day and age anyway? It's not the most satisfying work anymore. So she's wanting to move back to Ontario. My two sons, my eldest boy and my middle child, they both left Alberta and gone back. All my children actually were born in Ontario, born and raised there, and came out here gradually after I located out here. And Calgary is disappointing in that regard, and Edmonton isn't any better. I wish the province all the best going forward, but I've dried out here. It's dry county for me, and as long as my body will allow me to, I will continue on in the oil patch, commuting and that kind of thing. But if my back and other things decide enough is enough, well, that's it. I'm not going to cripple myself by any means. So, yeah, I look forward to getting back to the city of T.O. That's what the walkabout is here. It's another YouTuber who walks around the city of Toronto. And there's a lot of them that do this. They whip out a GoPro and start walking and talking about whatever as they're walking around. In this case, because I'm doing a bit of a narration here, I turned off the sound to the video. Most live feeds that I've done in front of a fireplace type setting, and that's not really worked as well. But this one has worked well for the first time, and I'm highly impressed. So the next live I'm going to host could be me walking around Toronto, me walking around Calgary a little bit, around the neighborhood here. I think I'm going to do a bit of that type thing. When am I going back to TO? In 2025. Again, there are many factors here that I've got to keep in mind, and some of those are the cost, of course. I have to find a condominium, purchase a condo, and then start the process of relocating. So 2025 for sure. Yeah. I miss it. Gentrification has done well for Toronto. It's done very well. And I'm just looking here at TTC. Remember many rides on board the streetcars. And that's what this is here. Waiting for the advanced green so it can start moving. But it's not going to. It's held at red. So this YouTuber is going to walk in front of the train to the other side of the sidewalk and carry on. So, okay. Well, I'm starting to wear down here, and this was fun for 33 minutes. And I wish you guys all the best wherever you're at. And, yeah, I'll see you next time when I tune in. As mentioned, please, if you're tuning in from YouTube, feel free to hit the subscribe button. So you'll be able to see some of the activities that I still involve myself with around here in Calgary. And you can also hit subscribe from Facebook as well. Okay, so have a great day, and we'll be chatting with you. Okay, take care.